Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Kid Connect at home. I'm super excited that you guys are joining me today. Today is a Remember and Celebrate lesson, and these are one of my favorite lessons that we get to do because it's time for us to stop and remember all of the things that God has done for us and how good He is. Today we're going to take a quick look at the last 5 lessons before we jump in to the next part of the Big God story next week. But first, let's go over our Bible verse. The Lord your God is with you, the mighty warrior who saves. He will take great delight in you. In His love He will no longer rebuke you, but will rejoice over you with singing. Zephaniah 3:17. So over the last 5 weeks, we talked about some really awesome things about God, and some of those had to do with when Jesus was born. At the beginning of December, we talked about how Jesus is our righteousness. We can't be righteous on our own, and that's why we need Jesus. Next, we heard about Zechariah and how God keeps His promises. Remember, Zechariah and his wife were old, and they couldn't have kids, except with God's help. Zechariah didn't trust the angel, so he couldn't talk until his son was born, and he named him John. Zechariah learned an important lesson that day, that God always keeps His promises. Next, like the angels told the shepherds in the field, we learned that Jesus brings us peace. Peace is kind of a hard thing to understand, and it's okay if we don't understand it right now, as long as we keep our trust in God. As you get older, and as time goes on, and you experience peace for yourself, then you'll start to understand it more. But remember, God will always give us peace. We just have to ask for it. Do you remember Simeon and Anna? We heard about how God honored their faith. They had been waiting for years, their whole lives, to see the promised Messiah. And they got to see Jesus as a baby when Mary and Joseph brought Him to the temple. Simeon and Anna taught us that even when it's hard, we can have faith, and God is going to honor that. That means He's going to make right on His promises, and He's going to do good things. Finally, last week, we talked about how God inspires worship, just like He did for King David. King David teaches us that we can worship no matter what. When we're happy, sad, angry, confused, excited, or anything else. Remember, he wrote Psalms that we read in the Bible, and he wasn't always happy when he wrote them. But God still inspired him to worship no matter what was going on. And he worshiped God with all of his heart. He didn't care what other people thought about him because it was more important that he showed God how much he loved him. All of these things help teach us that God is trustworthy. There was a feast that the Israelites had to remember and celebrate that. During the Feast of First Fruits, God's people gave the first part of their barley harvest to the Lord. The Israelites would bring one sheaf, also known as a bundle, of their grain to the temple and offer it to God. It was a reminder that they were going to trust God to provide the rest of their harvest for them. From that day on, they counted down to the next big holiday, the Feast of Pentecost. The Feast of First Fruits was a time for the Israelites to put their faith in God as they remembered that He is trustworthy to provide for all of their needs. These offerings were made on the day following the Sabbath, so Sunday, and marked the beginning of their 2-month barley harvest. In the New Testament, Jesus, the first fruits of the resurrection, rose to life on Sunday, the same day that the Feast of the First Fruits was celebrated. I want you guys to remember that God hears you whenever you call out to Him. that you know that you can trust him to always take care of you, to always provide for you, even when it doesn't seem like anything's good is going to happen. And he's always going to give you what you need. Like Zechariah, Simeon, and Anna, the shepherds, and King David, we can always know that God is trustworthy. So I hope you guys have a great week, and I hope to see you next time.